Okay, so I welcome you guys for this class, Human Capital Management. So I will start the class with a little introduction from Nahu. Can you please introduce yourself? Just hold on, let me give you a mic. Okay.
Hello, my name is Nahum. I'm 22 years old. I'm from Germany and I'm studying finance and accounting, and I'm an exchange student for one semester here on Xi'an University.
Wonderful.
Hello, my name is Christoph. I am also an exchange student at Xi'an University from Frankfurt, Germany. I'm studying economics there.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Obiabe Chibozo. I'm from Nigeria, and I'm studying hotel and tourism management.
Hello, my name is Lem Onyekachi Benjamin. I'm from Nigeria. I'm studying hotel and tourism in Siam University.
Hello, my name is Oscar Sanchez. I'm from Frankfurt, from Germany as well. I'm from the Goethe University. I'm 21 years old and I'm studying business administration.
Hi, my name is Christoph Dörr. I'm also from Goethe University and I study business administration too. I'm here for an exchange semester at Xi'an University and I'm glad to visiting Mr. Emanuel's class today.
Hello, my name is Meka Elvis Chedoto. I'm from Nigeria. I'm studying here in Siam University, Hotel and Tourism. Thank you.
My name is Abalugo Chima. I'm from Nigeria. I'm studying hotel and tourism in Siam, Thailand. Thank you.
You're forgetting what you're studying.
Hello, my name is Nicholas Price. I'm also from Germany. I'm 22 years old and I'm very happy to be in the class of Mr. Emanuel, the Human Capital Management class.
Hello everyone, my name is Lennart Rother and I'm also from Germany, studying in Frankfurt Business Administration and Accounting and Economics. I'm 22 years old and I'm very glad to be here today.
Hi, my name is Finn. I'm 20 years old, also coming from Germany as an exchange student here at Xi'an University. I'm also studying business administration, finance and accounting, and I'm thrilled to hear all the presentations about human capital management today.
Hi everyone, my name is Anna-Katharina Rhein. I'm from Frankfurt, Germany, and I'm 21 years old. I'm also an exchange student here at Xi'an University.
Okay, so thank you very much, everybody, for your introduction. So we are starting the class with a presentation. I believe you will also introduce yourself. So you can now continue with your class.
Okay, hello together. I'm Sebastian. I'm 22 years old and I'm also from Germany, Frankfurt. I also study at the Goethe University with the specification of finance and accounting. And I'm welcoming you now for today's first presentation about the topic, the importance of human capital management in an organization. I structured my presentation in the following points. First of all, I will give a quick introduction. After that, I will talk about human capital management for talent acquisition, followed by employee engagement. Then we will talk about the employee development in human capital management, and last but not least, about the employee retention. To wrap things up, I will give a quick conclusion at the end of the presentation. So, I would like to start today by highlighting the critical role of human capital management in an organization. So, as you can see on the slide, human capital is the backbone of every successful organization. This quote emphasizes that when companies invest in their people, they can see up to a 21% increase in profitability. I mean, that's a powerful statistic which illustrates just how important human capital management is for driving success. So what exactly is human capital management? So in short, human capital management refers to the practices organizations use to recruit, manage, and optimize their workforce for improved business performance. It encompasses a wide range of activities, from hiring the right talent to providing ongoing training and development, and even ensuring the employee's well-being. Finally, let's think about the outlook. So why should we discuss the importance of HCM, and what are the key takeaways from today's presentation? So well, today we'll be focusing on four areas: talent acquisition, employee engagement, employee development, as well as employee retention, all of which are essential to ensure an organization's long-term success. Now let's take a closer look at HMC for why human capital management enhances talent acquisition. So first of all, HCM contributes to a streamlined recruitment process. So HCM systems automate tasks like sourcing, screening, interview scheduling, which significantly reduces the time to hire and improves recruiter efficiency. Second, HCM contributes to an enhanced candidate experience, which means that tools like video interviews and personalized communication provides candidates with a seamless application journey, improving their perception of the company. Third, we should talk about the point of gamification for skill assessment. So HCM contributes through gamified assessment, which engages candidates while measuring their skills in an interactive way. For example, HCM uses gamified tools to evaluate cognitive and emotional intelligence. What is also important is that HCM contributes to data-driven hiring decisions, which means that HCM platforms leverage data analytics to predict candidate success, ensuring a better match for the role and reducing turnover. Moreover, HCM contributes to AI-powered candidate screening, which means AI is used to scan resumes and screen candidates, helping companies quickly filter out unqualified applicants. Lastly, we should mention the real-world example. So Siemens, for example, utilizes gamified assessment and AI tools to assess technical and leadership abilities in real-world scenarios, ensuring they hire the best talent efficiently. Now, let's take a closer look at how human capital management improves employee engagement through three key areas. So first of all, human capital management contributes to the onboarding process. So a smooth onboarding process helps new employees feel welcomed and supported from the start. HCM systems automate onboarding tasks, ensuring that new hires receive all the information they need and feel connected with the company's values. Second, HCM can contribute through self-service tools. So HCM platforms provide self-service options where employees can access important documents, manage their benefits, and even request time off. This fosters independence and improves overall job satisfaction. Lastly, HCM contributes to performance management and feedback. It contributes through continuous feedback and performance tracking through HCS systems, which allows employees to understand expectations and receive recognition for their achievements. This builds a culture of growth and motivation. Now, let's discuss how HCM can contribute to employee development. So first of all, it's important to mention personalized learning paths. So HCM platforms enable organizations to create customized learning journeys tailored to individual skills and career aspiration, ensuring more relevant and effective development. What is also very important is point of continuous learning opportunities. So employees have access to a wide range of online courses, for example, and training resources which promote lifelong learning. HCM also contributes to upskilling and reskilling, which means that HCM helps organizations offer training programs that allow employees to adapt new technologies in changing job roles, ensuring future readiness. What is also important is performance-linked development, which means that performance data is used to identify skill gaps and align training initiatives with both employee growth and organizational goals. Last but not least, we should talk about the mentorship and coaching programs which come with HCM. So HCM platforms help match employees with mentors and coaches, fostering professional growth and long-term success. I also brought a real-world example here. Amazon's Career Choice program leverages HCM tools to provide employees with development opportunities, helping them transition into higher skilled job roles within or outside the company. So now let's take a closer look at HCM for talent retention. First of all, their HCM contributes through improved employee management. So HCM tools enable continuous feedback and strong communication, which keeps employees engaged and connected with the organization's goals. Second, HCM can contribute through career development and growth, so employees can track their development, access training, and see a clear path for growth, motivating them to stay within the company. What is also important is the recognition and rewards program, which can be contributed through HCM. So automated systems ensure high performers are recognized and rewarded, boosting morale and job satisfaction. What is also important to mention is work-life balance through HCM. So HCM platforms offer flexible work options, for example, helping employees manage their personal and professional life, which can reduce the burnout rate in a company. HCM can also contribute through real-time data for HR decisions. So HCM provides real-time data to identify potential retention risks, allowing HR to act early. Last but not least, it's also important to talk about employee wellness programs. So HCM supports wellness initiatives that address mental and physical health, increasing employee satisfaction and retention. Lastly, HCM can contribute to talent retention in terms of predictive analytics for retention. So HCM systems use predictive analytics to foresee which employees might leave, enabling proactive management, for example, tracking the days off or the sick days of different employees. So now let's come to the conclusion. So what are the key takeaways from today's presentation? So first, human capital management serves as a strategic advantage by driving key organizational success areas such as talent acquisition, employee engagement, development, and retention. Second, by fostering a positive employee experience, HCM can promote continuous learning, career growth, and overall job satisfaction, making employees feel more valued within the company. Third, HCM enables the use of data-driven tools, such as predictive analytics and real-time feedback, for example, which allows organizations to make better informed decisions. So if we are looking ahead, companies that prioritize human capital management will gain a competitive edge by cultivating and retaining their most valuable assets, their people. So thank you for your attention. Are there any questions?
Okay, so back to everybody now. So if you have been busy with your laptop or phone, this is time to pay attention and then make your own contribution. But before then, I would like to ask all of you, do you understand what he presented? Were you lost or you found yourself grasping all the concepts you may have used? Everybody, do you understand? Hello? Okay. Sorry, may I hear what you said clearly?
He had a great structure, so it was easy to follow his presentation. I think I understood it well.
Okay. He has a kind of a PowerPoint that could express all that you are saying.
Yeah, I think you just hit the sweet spot between the complexity and like a simple presentation, so we could follow it easily. even though we're like not pretty much into his topic, but it was really easy to follow. So I think it was really good.
Wonderful. Okay, now let me get to the reality. There are so many realities, but let me get to one. Let me ask African students here, be very frank and do not cover up. When he was reading or talking, were you understanding what he was saying?
Though he was not audible enough for me to understand.
Was it that he was not edible enough, or you were not familiar with the accent?
I'm familiar with the asset because I can read through the board, but
No,
he was
we're not
not.
talking about reading, we're talking about presentation.
Yes, I understand everything he said.
Okay, Obia, could you tell us, like other students, whether you really grasp everything he was saying?
Yeah, to be honest, like he speaks very fast, but I really understand everything, but not.
Okay,
not that well.
you were understanding what he was saying because you read it.
Yeah, I'm reading from
But
the book.
actually, when he was presenting it, the accent he was using was not familiar with you.
No, it's just that he's too fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that is part of it. That is why he has to be fast, because that is the real. Okay, now let's get to Elvis. Just be honest. When he was expressing himself and presenting, how were you perceiving it? Were you understanding based on the way he was talking?
Yeah. I got everything he said.
Huh?
I
You got it by PowerPoint, or you got it by the way he was saying it?
once he's reading it, then I follow
Okay,
from
you
the
were
power.
concentrating on the reading, what he was, the PowerPoint itself.
Yeah.
So how about you, Emmanuel?
Yeah, he presented well, so I got everything he said. Although he speaks fast, but I got it.
Okay, now let me ask European students, were you thinking he was speaking fast? No. I guess most of you will say no. And the reason is because that is it. We have to start with that part of human capital. Yeah, because we are coming from different environments, different background, different upbringing. So my accents, if I begin to speak, I'm sure most of you will be struggling to get what I mean. And I know fairly correctly, if I ask how many African students here, 1, 2, 3, 4, if in my own view, if I ask them deeply, I'm sure they will all agree that he was very fast. And then, but most of you will understand easily and simply because it's coming from you. Do you get that? And that's the reality of the world we are into. We do the same thing, but what we do might have different meaning for different people. So now let's get back to your presentation from start.
Okay.
Okay, so
This was the first slide.
So from the first slide, the topic is about human capital management, then the importance in an organization. Hello? Human capital management and its importance in an organization. Any comment here? Anybody? Do you understand what that means? The importance of human capital management in an organization. Please just be very open and then very free in this class, because mostly my classes, students get points only when they express themselves, share their idea. It's not when we sit in the classroom waiting for the teacher or presentation to go on and finish. No. When you contribute, we learn. All of us, we are all here to learn. Okay, go on.
Yeah, so basically, I think his overall topic was why you need an HR department or human capital inside a bigger organization, and why it's so important. For example, in the end, in his summary, he also said that you need to have it for the organization to work overall.
Okay. Let me start with the importance of human capital management. How do we manage, even from this class right now? After the presentation, even while Mr. Sebastian, right, was doing the powerful presentation, personally, because I am not from the background he came from, And to be sincerely, I would prefer that it would have been very slow and then gradual so that I will follow up. But then I know fairly correctly that majority of us here are from Germany, right? So that is preferable anyway, because he's talking to almost the German students as well. But how can we apply human capital management here? How, when all of us here are not from Germany? Can somebody tell me? Starting from this presentation, because I believe in practical education. Okay, let me start with Nahu.
So I think part of human capital is to ensure an inclusive environment where everyone can participate. And maybe it would be better if we then keep in mind that other people have problems with our accent, so we speak slowly, that everyone understands us correctly.
Oh, wonderful. Do you guys get what he said? Human capital management. Because it's very simple to do for us to come here and theoretically present human capital management. But practically, most times it's very difficult to implement. And practicality of it is what Nahu just said, in my own view. Just wherever you gather, to remember that everybody there, the majority are not coming from your background. And your understanding of concepts and things might be different from them. Just like my last semester, I had some students from Netherlands. And we were talking about elderly parents. And I got the impression that in Europe, you have an elderly home, right? Where you keep your parents, majority. But do you know that something like that in Africa is considered like a taboo, abomination? That your parents that took care of you, when they got old, instead of you taking care of them as a payback, you now send them to call it elderly home or what? Elderly home. You rejected them. So, but then in Europe, I guess, the Europeans have the system that made that possible. But probably in African country, we have a different kind of system. Because life is just like do me, I do you. We call it in English language, Nigerian English, do me, I do you. If you help me, I help you. When our parents, when we were kids, they were taking good care of us. And then, of course, the payback, the assurance is that when they grow older, they could not do certain things. Then we will take care of them. Do you have any comment here, European students or even African students? Okay, because we are here for human capital management. Sometimes people tend to misunderstand this topic. Human capital management. Human capital management is vast. It's not just the concept. It has to do with how did you wake up today? Because if you woke up on the dark side of the bed and then having not good feeling, and then it's possible that you will come in this school to spread it across because you're not able to manage it. If you have not been able to manage yourself from primary school, secondary school, it's possible that in the university you will not be able to manage yourself well. Human capital management, it has to do with even the life itself. It has to even to do with individuals. What is their capital? Your capital could be that you're good looking. Yeah. And your capital could be that you're very intelligent. And your capital could be that whenever a topic is brought up, you know the answer immediately. The same thing even in marriage. It might sound funny, but that is the reality. Your capital could be that you take good care of your man, and then your capital could be that you take good care of a woman. so that she will not run away and go to another man. So, human capital management here should not be limited to theoretical understanding of it. Okay, now, over to you.
Yeah, I wanted to come back to your point with the elderly homes.
Yes, elderly homes.
So I think it's like an ethical question and also like a culture question. In like some countries, they have like different understanding of like ethics or cultural differences. I would say like in most countries this could be considered unethical, but like in Germany, it's pretty common to have like elderly homes and put your older parents to these elderly homes. They're also pretty expensive and they're also really good. So your grandparents will be taken care of there, and you also like maybe can help to finance the elderly home. So I would say this could make maybe like a difference, but it's like a culture thing, I would say.
Yeah, it's cultural thing actually. Because I can't believe that. How do you feel taking your parents to somewhere else? Is it okay?
Yeah, I think it feels.
I think it has become part is a culture. I mean, okay. It has become part and parcel of, okay, your first. I mean, I try to imagine that as an African as well, but I don't feel correct, it's cultural thing.
So I personally think I would take my parents home with me as well and let them live with me. Just for me, I think that's very unusual for a European, especially for a German, but that's just the way I grew up. So I think if my parents are getting older, I would make sure that they live in my house as well, maybe have like someone that looks after them, but me as well.
Okay, there are individual...
Maybe individual apartments, but still in the same house, so I'm next to them and I can always be there, yeah.
Wonderful. I'm approved.
Yeah, I think when my parents get older, I would love to take care of them. But I think I just see for my grandparents, my grandma has Alzheimer. And I think at some point, it's quite hard to take care of them because my mother has to work and doesn't have time all day long. So it's pretty much that you need another person who takes care of them. Otherwise, it's like a full-time job and you can't work and have another full-time job. 2 full-time jobs is like not possible. But if they like have not Alzheimer, I would love to take care of my parents, yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Any other contribution to this? Okay. So anyway, if we continue to point out the differences, we might not live here. There are a lot. But the point, okay.
In Nigeria, many people believe that when elderly, like when someone's parents is getting older, the mother of the son is supposed to live supposed to live with his son. So for me, I believe that whenever my parents is getting older, like especially my parents, they will live with they will live with me. So.
Okay, Joe, of course, that's a normal African standard. Just as I said, it looks like an abomination. An abomination. But then, in other system, it's not. So, back to what we are saying. So, in the class, when we talk about human capital management, the management, let's get back to what Nahu said. Management is also part of being very, very sensitive of the environment and the people therein, so that you'll be able to know how to manage it. So when Sebastian said the importance of human capital management in organization, let's get back to some of the points he made, because that is where we are heading to. But then I started with this particular class with the fact that after his presentation, wonderful presentation, majority of you can say is very, very nice because of your background. I know very well, fairly correctly, that other African students here may not have been following what he was talking, but they were reading they were reading the PowerPoint. I think so, because including myself, but that does not mean that he has not done a wonderful presentation. I'm talking about environmental sensitivity. That is why actually today I wanted the two classes to come together. It's very, very important in an organizational management, because we're no longer in the world where all the people are from Africa. Even inside Africa, there are so many tribes. Do you know that? Even inside Africa, we don't agree amongst ourselves. Then someone, even in Nigeria, we have 3 major tribes. And in that 3 major tribes, we don't agree. And I know fairly correctly that is common in human life. So when we now situate it to human capital management, the question is, how do we manage it? Are you getting the point? How do we manage it? So I think you are raising your hand when I was asking about environmental management in terms of sensitivity when we gathered from different angles. Were you the one raising your hand after when Nahu was talking? Do you wanted to share some point?
Yeah, but to come together now, I think like what I was talking about earlier with Nahum is in this environment it's very important to speak slow and to consider everyone. But the statement that you just made, how people come together even if they're in the same continent but still have different opinions, is I think to find one middle ground, one center, and just to try to understand each point, respect the other person's values and beliefs. So for example, in this classroom now, for us to speak very slow, make maybe some points, some gestures more, for everyone to have the ability to understand what we are talking about.
Yeah. So, okay. No, can we use this? Oh, you mean that you are feeling cold? Okay, so let's move on. But then we are starting with, I will do that later. We are starting with the importance of human capital management in an organization, where Nahu has helped us to understand one important part of it. And that is, in any organization, once you look around, you try to adjust. You try to understand that the concept you have, the worldview you have, may not be the same with all the people around. Do we all agree on that? Any dissenting view? Any dissenting view? In any organization, we found ourselves. Oh, you are agreeing, right? Yeah. So any dissenting view? In any organization, maybe you go to Chiang Mai. How many of you have gone to Chiang Mai in Thailand? How was it? Beautiful. How many of you have gone to Phuket? Wow. How many of you have gone to Pattaya? Oh, you have not gone to anywhere.
We went to Kopangan.
Kopangan.
Kopangan to the food party.
Oh, I see. So where have you been to?
I have been to Koh Tao for my diving certificate.
Wonderful.
And we also went to Hong Kong. Right.
Because if you have not got anywhere, then it means that you will start attending the class. Yes. The intention is to make sure that your own capital management in coming to Asia is well harnessed with a lot of experiences. You have gone to so many places, the ones you can, because that is the learning. That is how you manage the capital. When you understand people from different worldview, from their different culture, from a different religious view, then you'll be able to talk about human capital management. How can you talk about my management when you don't know me? Do you think it's possible? Even in airplane, when we are there, we are not the same. We don't behave the same way. Even as you leave this classroom, we don't behave the same way. So the essence of your knowledge experience in this first semester, frankly speaking, all of you from Germany, is to move around. It's only when you move around, you learn, then you'll be able to talk about human capital management in relation to Asian experience. Because there are so many things you will experience here, you will never believe that it is possible. But there are many of them. Okay, so now Sebastian, Professor Sebastian, can we go back to your PowerPoint? Next.
Yes. Next slide, okay.
So then look at this topic, structure, human capital management for talent acquisition, human capital management for employee engagement, human capital management for employee development, human capital management for employee retention. These are his topics. So now, who can tell me about talent acquisition? Human capital management for talent acquisition. Anybody? Human capital management for talent acquisition. Human capital management for talent. What does that mean in your understanding?
So in my understanding, basically, it's how firms hire people. They use different tools. For example, Sebastian mentioned AI-powered candidate screening. There are some programs that can look at your cover letter, CV, and basically your application data, and see if you are fit for the company even before you talk to a HR employee in person. So it's basically about the screening process. To filter out ideal candidates for the firm.
Wonderful. Human capital management for talent acquisition. What do you understand by that?
Yeah, I think as you just mentioned, it's just about finding the right person for the right job. And I think this is it's like a core element of a company, and it's quite hard for a company and might cost really much to find the right person. So I think you just presented it quite well and mentioned the right points. Yeah.
Okay, Christopher.
Yeah, so a bit of the same track here. Talent acquisition is like really important for the company because it's hard to find talents at first, and it's also like really difficult for the company to retain a good talent or like train a talent on the job that they will get the most out of a talent. And the human capital management technology helps us to at first find the talent, then retain the talent, and also train the talent on the job. So a company that makes the most profit out of a person or a talent.
Okay.
If you see like a human being as an asset.
Okay. Any other understanding? But do you think this is applicable to everywhere in the world? In Asia, do we apply this? In Africa, do we apply this? In other parts of the world, do we apply it? Because I tend to think that it is suitable only in European countries and the Western world. I tend to think I may be wrong. It's also applicable in Asia, in Africa, but I would rather examine it further. So what do you think? Do you think is used all over the world?
I would totally agree with you. I think especially, for example, the AI-powered candidate screening, for example, would be very hard to apply, for example, in Africa because you don't even have the devices for it or the connections. So I think it depends on, but I think it's definitely doable everywhere because, I mean, it is introduced and we do have the abilities, the facilities for it. I just think it's going to take a much longer time to be introduced everywhere around the globe. But yes, I think there's a lot of differences. I mean, first of all, what kind of jobs are even out there? And then second of all, what he talked about, how do you get them? And I think that's a big point because I think it's completely different. I think I personally would imagine in Asia, it's a lot more about like introducing yourself in person, for example. And it's a lot more about your background. Whereas in Europe, I think it's more about your academic background and not so much about what you actually have done and what aspects you worked. It's a lot more about academics. So I think there's definitely culture differences.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Any other point?
Yes, I would say there's not only like a cultural differences, but also like an environmental differences between the companies. So for example, if you have more like a strategic company, like a consulting boutique or investment bank, I would say they use more like HCM for talent acquisition, like these online tools or AI power to screen the candidates. And I would say like the basic concepts should be the same in every country, like in Europe or Asia or Africa. But I think more countries, I think like also Europe or America advance these AI screening, for example, to like point out the perfect candidate for the position and find like the perfect value for the company.
Okay, nobody wants. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the point is that is important. We just also consider environmental factors here. Actually, I tend to think that this should be a standard because with this kind of talent acquisition, the organization can grow and things could be better off. But unfortunately, evidence on the ground from some countries, especially developing countries, is not the case. Sometimes is who do you have? If you are from connected families, even when you are not qualified, you may be given a kind of an appointment. Even when you don't have anything, but because it's a family kind of a connection. I think it happens almost all over the world, but at least the difference, if you ask me, could be because and we don't have exactly what you said. Not every country has the same kind of system, the same kind of procedure, the same kind of managerial ability. So I guess this was supposed to be a standard platform, supposed to be a standard system for human capital management, but the reality on the ground is not. What do you have to say about that? Do you think we need to improve? And then who should improve?
Okay. So in Germany, I think some companies still practice the thing of who do you know, and they are family, or maybe they will then just get invited for an interview if they just have a high school diploma. But I think it's changing definitely, because for all the companies that we are applying to right now for internships, you need to go through a big process of interviews and also AI-powered screening, I think, for your letter. So I think it's definitely changing in Germany. I'm not sure if it's here also like this, because I feel like here it's still a bit more personal, like Finn said before. But I think it's definitely changing in Europe.
Wow. No.
So I think it's a problem in a lot of countries, especially countries in Asia or Africa or Eastern Europe. But we also have it in countries like Germany. But can I speak? Yeah. But I think in more developed countries or economically better countries, the framework is better and the systems are working efficiently. So companies have a more fairer process in recruiting.
Currently?
Yes.
Okay. So the point we have gotten it is that is standard in the Nigeria, but we have to also understand the reality on the ground. There is so many countries and so many places. That's what it is. Okay, next.
Yes.
In my own understanding, talented acquisition refers to applying or hiring the right person, like applying or to hire the right people to ensure a company growth. Especially this talent acquisition normally like actually happen in my country because someone will graduate in my country, but for the person to get a job will be very difficult. But someone who did not like someone who did not graduate from school or like don't have any experience, we just apply for the job and get it. Especially this thing, like it normally happens in my
Do
my
you
country.
guys understand what he's saying? Did you get him clearly? He's making it very clear that from his own experience that it doesn't it doesn't happen in his own country, because sometimes people go to school, graduate, get the qualification, and they go apply for a job, but they cannot get the job because they are not connected, or because the person calling for the job is not looking for talent acquisition, but looking for affiliates, like a family connections, or someone that will give him more than, I mean, just like personal acquisition, not talent acquisition. So it's making it very clear that in the country is coming from, of course, that's the same country I came from too, and it happens to be Nigeria, that you will finish university education and then you apply for a job, you will not get it. But someone else who doesn't have the degree might even get it. Is that scandalizing? Is that scandalous?
Yeah, I mean, I think so, and we also have it in Germany. So it's called like we have the saying vitamin B. It's like for if you know somebody who you would like to fill the position, then the hiring process is quite easy for them, and you don't look at the qualifications too much. But I think especially then systems like this are really important to because if you have like an HR department. And they have to hire to certain standards, then it's not that easy to just skip somebody who's more qualified than the person you want to hire, I would say. So if you, for example, have systems in place that guarantee that your applicant has to fulfill certain specifics, then it kind of gets rid from this perspective that you can just place a friend of yours in a company. Of course, it's still like depending on the hierarchy or the manager level in the end, but I think this is a good thing to basically stop it a little bit.
Wonderful.
To your question, you ask if it's scandalous. I think it depends on the size of the organization. If it's a big organization, I think it can be called scandalous. I think it should be better if it's a fair recruitment process based on the qualifications. But if it's a small company or even a family-based company, then I can understand that they might hire people they know because they know the chemistry as well, they know the person, they know the character is good and fitting in the company. So I think it depends on the size of the company.
Yeah, but in this case, we presume that it's a larger company. If it is a family issue, then why do they send the application? What do you call it? They send it on newspaper, or they say they're looking job description they're looking for. Because if it's a private kind of a thing, okay, it's understandable, because I would prefer someone that I understand or I get connected to help me. On that note, it's not organization in that sense, because if it's a pure organization, then it means I have to follow governmental procedures and governmental requirements and contract. Because I guess most governments don't allow discriminatory kind of policy in recruitment. So, but that's a very nice point, because that's mostly what most people get involved, is a kind of family thing. In that case, you are very correct, and I think I agree with that. But in the sense of a kind of a company that pays tax and a company that follows the national regulatory policies, and then they allow people based on connection, not based on qualification. That's why society is falling apart, actually, in my own view. Yeah.
Yeah, I would totally agree. I think it's unethical and morally wrong. And I think the biggest problem is that, smaller countries or poorer countries don't really have the abilities to do for example, candidate screening. So it does happen a lot more, as you said as well, from experience. And I think it's a big problem if you don't choose someone based on his academic background, but more if you know them and if you like them as a person. And yeah, I think it's definitely morally wrong. I do agree with Nahum, though, that if you have a small family company, for example, then I would agree that it's understandable and acceptable, because I mean, it's a family-based company. So I would definitely agree that it's acceptable in that circumstance.
Oh, wonderful. Anybody, any other person to add anything? Okay, talent acquisition. So we are agreeing on the fact that it's important to have a talent, it's important to actually develop one's talent as well. But we're also agreeing on the fact that it is not the best practice to ignore someone that has the qualification while you needed that particular qualification. You rather chose someone that is not qualified because of family tie or because of connection. So that is the fact about this particular human capital management for talent acquisition. Of course, classroom is always nice area. When we come to class, we say so many things nicely. But then when we have business as managers, as CEO of a company, can we really implement all this? Is it possible? Do we think it's possible? Christopher, do you think we can implement it if you become a manager? Or just in the classroom, we talk nice things that are supposed to be, but in actual fact, we don't implement them.
Well, I think it depends.
Okay, it depends on the person. It depends on belief system or the.
Yeah, first of all, on beliefs, and second of all, I think it really depends on the company. Because as we already said, there are some differences between big companies because they are highly regulated. They have like compliance that they have to follow. So I think they are like forced to implement it in like to some extent. But I think more smaller companies, they don't have to follow compliance that strictly. So I think you can choose as a manager from a small company, you can choose yourself to what extent you want to implement this in your company. And in some cases, it makes really and totally sense to implement it. But we already saw, like in the classroom discussion, that there could be also some cases where it doesn't make sense to implement it.
Wonderful. Okay, Professor Sebastian, do you have anything to say about this particular topic or just only for presentation's sake?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you guys wrapped it up very good and got a really good grasp on what are the cultural differences in talent acquisition. So I think we can go on now.
Okay, next. Okay, employment engagement.
Yes.
What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
That means that employees within an organization, within a company, should be aligned with the company's values and are getting a grasp of what the actual company is all about.
Okay, human capital management for employee engagement suggests that you have to recruit the person and then let the person know about the
company values,
the culture of the company, the philosophy of the company. So how do we do that? We do that by doing what? What do you suggest is the best way to do that in order to actually manage this capital?
Yeah, we do that through a perfectly fitted onboarding process in the first place. Then there have to be self-service tools so that the employee can manage their inquiries throughout the period they are employed at the company. And then there has to be continuous feedback from your management and how you are performing within the company.
Okay. Okay, that is wonderful. Any questions for him or any contribution? Okay, go on. So, the next is employee development. This is wonderful. How do we develop the employee? How and for what purpose? What if after developing the person, he runs away from the company and goes to another company? Maybe you send the person for further studies or you send the person for further training. Then after that, suddenly, he resigns from your company. Sebastian, do you have any point before your friends will contribute?
Well, I think the situation you just described can happen, but as a company, you should always remember that when an employee leaves the company, it can always come back. So everything you invested in an employee can contribute to the company's values and goals in the future. So I think development should never be considered wasted.
Yeah, that is correct for an individual. But before I send someone to go for further studies, go for further training,
yes,
we have an issue. We have a demand. There's a reason for that. And the reason for sending the person to come back to the company, for the person to continue to develop the company, suddenly he resigns or she resigns. So in that case, what do you think we are going to do this particular company? Is it because company is also human? The company might be crying, lamenting.
Yeah, I think it's really important what you said about, for example, the studies, because if you invest in an employee, certain workshops or skills that they develop under your company, and then you lose them, you have to retrain an entire new individual. So it's better to keep the people there, or look that they are trained in-house, for example, because you invested quite much into them.
I think there are two things a company can do. One soft thing and one hard thing. The hard thing would be to create a contract for a specific teaching or a seminar that he has to stay at the company for a certain time. For example, I was working at an accounting firm, and there the accounting firm would pay you a master's degree, and but you would have to stay at least, I think, 2 or 3 years after the master degrees at this accounting firm. So companies could do this, or another thing would be that they can should invest in their culture, in other beneficiary things. So employees want to stay at that company. Yeah.
Did you guys get his idea?
Yes.
Because he made a very strong submission. What particular one is that? In terms of training someone, developing someone,
Yes.
and
I think he made when he said about the hard point. So you want to force an employee to stay within your company after he received like the further qualifications.
But he used the particular terminology. Contract.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that is the solution. Do you have any dissenting view about that? Because the point is that this is a company, and I want to send you I want to develop you because we needed you. That is why we're sending you on a further studies. That's why we're sending you on further training. That's why we're doing all that we're doing. So I think the basic here, in case of some of us that may be starting a company or those who have not started, the main thing is to put it in your contract. If we are sending you on for further studies, or if we are sending you for further training, we are doing this for the interest of the company. And if you just be aware that you will serve the company so and so time. Sometimes I think they have attorney as well. Bring in a lawyer who signs, because some people will still be stubborn. So, but it's very important to have an attorney, a lawyer who also signs on behalf of the person, and then the one that will sign on behalf of the company. So that's the best way, in my own view, to solve this kind of issue, because it has been a problem in terms of employee development. Do you agree with that, everybody, or do you have something to add?
Yes.
So contract solves the problem. So thank you very much, Nahu. I think that was a very nice point. Okay, next, human capital management and talent retention. You see that? How do you retain? Some people, they pretend in the company. How do you know who is who? Most people, they come early as expected, and they go back home when expected. They just wear kind of mask. So how would you know who to retain and who not to retain? Suggestions. How would you know who to retain and who not to retain? Suggestions, please.
I would do that through yearly or monthly performance reviews.
People pretend.
Sorry?
People pretend a lot.
Yeah, but if you're employed there, you usually have like a supervisor or someone who is higher in the hierarchy as you, and he has to like watch over you and can like evaluate your your tasks and so on. So he should then give you regular feedback on your performance, and that should be like also the reason why you are laid off or not.
Okay, so
I would definitely agree with Sebastian. I think he made a very good point there. I think if you work with a supervisor and a lot with deadlines, for example, and you have a supervisor with who you meet every once in a week and you have deadlines every couple of days, it's very easy to maintain good working conditions and that you have good results because you actually need to do something. And I mean, there's a lot of different things you can also track. For example, you can track the screen time, how long someone was actually active, not only had their screen on, but also was actively working on there. You can see exactly those things. So you can track the hours exactly, for example. Or for example, just by starting, we have here like real-time data like as well. Like, for example, if you enter the office, go with the key card, then you have entering time. And then, I think there's a lot of different things to monitor that you actually do a lot of work. And I think Sebastian made a very valid point there, because I think if you have someone that looks over your shoulder and you meet up once in a week and work with deadlines a lot, exactly how we said, I think that's the perfect way.
okay, thank you. Any other person anything to add to it about human capital management for talent retention? Any other person? Okay.
I have a question.
Nicholas.
Yes, on your slide you mentioned the work-life balance support.
Yes.
Can you give me an example for work-life balance support, or what does it mean exactly?
Okay, I can give you a real life example. So I worked at a company. It was listed in the German stock exchange, and there was the policy that nobody was allowed to work above 10 hours a day. You had to track your time. Also when you came in the morning, you stamped in, and when you just went off at the evening, you just had to stamp out. And if the period was longer than 10 hours, then there was like a supervisory board which just sent you a letter. So you're just not allowed to work more than 10 hours a day.
Okay, good. I understand.
Okay. Any other point about talent retention? Okay. Next. Okay, question from Emmanuel.
Let's go outside this topic.
Yes.
Just let's go into reality. Let's assume, how can you bring best? How can you bring out best in your employees, in your firm? Let's assume you have a firm and you are HCM. How can you bring out best in your employees?
You mean
Do you understand?
how can I, as an employer, how can I bring the best talent
In
out of
your employees, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a combination of a few aspects. I think first of all, you have to foster an environment of innovation in your company. Okay. So, for example, consider Tesla. At the beginning, everybody wants to work for Tesla because they have like the newest technology. They're on the cutting edge of innovation. Everybody wants to work for Tesla. And second, I would say to retain the talent you gained as a company, you have to provide like beneficial services for your employees. So parental leave, for example, contributions to work-life balance, and such things.
Okay, good. Another question is, assuming you need to promote one person in your organization,
yes,
as a HCM, and all of your employees, they work very well.
Yes,
they
okay.
come on time, do everything you require in your company. And one person exceptionally do everything else, but that particular person like advertise your company, like in social media,
Okay.
do everything to promote your company exceptionally. Yeah, he does the work exceptionally.
Okay.
Yeah. So who are you going to appoint as the head of your firm, or who are you going to promote?
I don't know if I get that correct, but you mentioned like I have a few employees which are all working very well.
Yeah.
And besides of that, I have one employee who promotes my company via
outside,
social
yeah.
media, but he doesn't work very well.
He works very well, but he do exceptional work by promoting it outside
Okay.
your
Yes, okay.
advertising your your firm. You know. So how can you let's assume in salary
How can you promote?
how can you promote people in that place, and let's assume that other people have worked like 5 years in your organization,
Yes.
but that person came new, maybe
Okay.
he come like
And you mean
1 month or
which,
2 months.
Which employee would I personally like
Promote first.
promote on the next level?
Yeah, let's assume the
Yeah, because there was
other people working there like 4 years, 5
there were
years.
so many employees and some people have been working long time in the company.
Yeah, but all of a
There's
sudden,
a particular one that came,
Yeah,
and that's
okay.
a good talent that
Okay.
promotes the company more than. Are you going to forget the ones that have been there in the company doing their best,
Yeah.
but not to compare with this
Okay.
this one that just came in and just
yeah, but the person
did a
just
lot
came
of,
like 2 months.
marketing for you.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say I can just tell how it is in Germany. So hierarchy is very important there. So if you are stayed a long time within a company, you get, or the chance to get promoted is like a lot higher. So I think in Germany, in general, it is done by the time you're working at a company, which decides of whom who get promoted.
Okay, so let me
I would
understand what you mean.
personally promote the person who stayed longer
Duration?
with me in the company.
Okay, you guys,
and did well work over a specific period of time.
Okay. So let me understand. You guys promote duration
Yes.
more than
Yes.
person promoting the company.
Yeah, they have system
Okay.
already.
Okay.
Hierarchy.
All right.
They
Thank you.
cannot jump over it. They just maintain the standard. Okay, any other question for this talent retention? Okay, Professor Sebastian, next. Okay,
Next
conclusion.
slide, conclusion.
So we are concluding with this presentation with human capital as a strategic advantage, driving organizational success through effective talent acquisition. That is, if the talent was actually acquired. What about those who fake documents? How do you check? What if you don't have the system to check whether the document is fake or not? There's another problem. Because so many people, they form so many things, and sometimes even they bypass all the people that shouldn't be. Okay.
Yeah, of course, people could, for example, lie about their work experience on their CV, but I think that's really where the personal talks with the people are really helpful, because especially at big companies in Germany, you have not just one questionnaire with them, but different people meet with your applicant and talk to him, and then they ask them questions, and you will basically see if the person is as good as they say they are. So you can, or for example, I think at some finance companies there's also a maths test before. So if they say they're really good at maths, then you could check that basically.
That is if they are there, if they are in the system, because some people they can use another person's paper, another person's document, and then claim they are the person while they are not.
You will see the person in person when you meet him.
That is if it's a German that is highly documented. What if it's not a German? It's from another country. Did you know that in Thailand here, sometimes they see us as the same? Even myself too, sometimes I see some Indians, I think it's the same person I saw yesterday, but it's not the same. I mean, I keep having that problem with Indians or Pakistani. They in my eyes, they're the same. Yeah, and the same thing applies to some people in relation to Africans. They can even use the passport of another person. If not that, nowadays it's now put e-passport or whatever. But before, come on, even twins can easily go and come back or something like that and use another person's document. It's still happening today, even in big companies. I read newspaper all the time concerning this. And sometimes I wonder why were they not identified early enough. So, driving organizational success through effective talent acquisition is an issue. It's very simple to say, but sometimes a lot of fake documents are there. Okay, do you have something to say, Mr. Nicholas? Okay, I thought you were raising your hand. Okay. So who wants to say? Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to get back to the fake documents. I think there are some ways to check it. First of all, you can ask a company if they verify that a person has ever worked for their company, and I think their human resource department will verify it to you.
That is if the person is from Europe or from Germany, right?
Yeah, or if she or he works for a big company.
What if it's coming from another continent and they don't have all these things in Asia?
I think
If it's coming from Asia, some of them don't have this in internet. Or it's coming from Africa or coming from South America or like some other countries that don't have that check and balance. What are you going to do?
I think if work experience or sufficient work experience is needed, mostly recruiter looking for big and renowned companies, and if the person has worked for a small company, I think the past work experience is considered as irrelevant. So yeah, that's it.
Anyone, any other point? Because this is very simple to put on here, but sometimes in reality it's very difficult actually. The evidence has shown it's very difficult because
So another fact is also that faking your documents is also not lawful in Germany, but I also think in other countries. And if you fake your documents, you can end up in jail, and that's maybe also a reason why you won't do it. And it's especially if you apply in a big company, they could check it, as Christoph already said, to check with other companies. And then when it comes out that you faked it, it could be really huge problem for you, especially in Germany. And your career could be finished. So I think it would be not really easy to do that in Germany, and especially if you want to stay into the law and want to stay lawful.
I also tend to think,
I would also like to add something. I remember when I applied to university, I had to get my high school diploma checked by a paralegal. So they had to stamp it, and so the university is ensured that I didn't fake the document, because they always want copies. And I think also someone called my school actually. That's not usual, but I remember that they really checked my high school diploma, even though it was a German high school diploma.
Yeah. Anyway, the reality remains, and the reality is still there that some people fake it and they say work in a company, and probably because the company needed them, probably because the company employed them on a very low wage or low salary, and probably company could not go and check. Sometimes this check and balances could be done by a bigger company because they are thinking about the money they have given to you. But sometimes some of these companies are also part of the problem because they tend to employ people based on the fact that the money is, they pay them little. And because of that, they don't care. So it happens. I know I read a lot of newspapers, even in the Western Europe, even in the Eastern Europe, even in America. I was thinking that they shouldn't be having this kind of issue, but it's there. A lot of them. In fact, some companies are not even agreeing with the documental policies. They employ people even when they may have noticed that the people are using, they don't want to care whether it's a fake document or not. The point is that they cared about the money, the profit, because maybe they're supposed to pay them $1,000 US, but then they are paying them 200 US. So why are they checking? They don't care why they needed them to do the work. Don't you believe that? Don't you think it happens? Or you have not experienced that or what? Because that's often the case, because most companies are part of the problem. Most companies.
I also think it happens. I think in countries in Europe or in North America, it's less because they have more regulations and more check and balances. But it still happens. I actually know people that, for example, in Germany work at football stadium and they do the security. And there's also no really identification. So, and because of the reason you mentioned before, they pay less wage than the law is given. So it's happening, but I think in Germany it's not happening on a broader scale. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Like what if the person have a fake document, but the person have the work experience for the work, like what will you do?
Do you understand what he said? Sebastian, Professor Sebastian, can you answer that? He said, what if the person has a fake document, fake whatever, but he has the human capacities there. He can work, he can deliver as a person, but he doesn't have the document.
Well, that would be still illegal.
It's still illegal.
Still illegal. Why? And that's the reason why we won't. So we won't do it in Germany.
But you need someone to fill in that space. But you need someone to fill in the space.
Okay.
And the person may have the paper, but he doesn't have the manpower.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think there are some compliance rules in Germany that completely forbid that this kind of person would like stay in the company. So even if he does his job like really good and there is no one who can fill out his position and his loss, but he would even get fired.
Okay.
Yeah, so as you just mentioned, I think it wouldn't work out anyway because it's illegal. But I think at some point, if you have like have some job experience at like three different jobs, the company won't care anymore. A new company won't care anymore if you have like a bachelor degree or master degree, because they see like, okay, you worked for like 3 bigger companies and that's more worth than a master degree.
That paper.
Right. It's they don't care anymore. They won't ask you like, where have you studied? Because they see, okay, you worked for 3 big companies. That's good. We like you. And so they don't care about
They are not employed based on experience. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're about to end this particular presentation. Enhancing employee experience, foster a positive work environment by promoting continuous learning, offering career growth. Of course, every good company does this. You have to develop your employees. You have to give them courage. You have to give them support, including family support, including their personal problems, social responsibility. It's not just to use people. It's not just to use the talent. It's not just only to use the paper, but just also understand that this person is human and should be attended to. So, data-driven decision, the use of technology in human capital management, from predictive analytics to real-time feedback, enables better decision-making. Correct. Organizations that prioritize human capital management will gain a competitive edge by nurturing and retaining their most valuable asset, people. Do you agree with that? Okay, Professor Sebastian, thank you very much. Is that the ending?
Yes, that
okay.
is the ending of
so
the
thank you for the long class.
Thank you very much.
This is the first presentation for today. I hope we will. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you.